Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Nussbaum Autohaus. I am your host, of course, David Nussbaum, and today we have yet another Porsche 992 Turbo S, but this time it is the very first convertible version that we featured here on the channel. So Porsche calls it Cabriolet, of course, and this car came to me all the way from St. Augustine, Florida. So a fun fact about St. Augustine, Florida is that it's the oldest city in the United States. Look that up. Pretty cool. I've been there, some pretty cool architecture. So if you haven't been, definitely take a visit. I sent an enclosed trailer up to St. Augustine to pick this car up and made the track back down. It was about a 5.5 to 6.5 hour drive. And this car comes to us to Miami for three things. We're going to be doing exhaust, suspension, and wheels. Now, I being a Porsche fanatic, I can even admit that the weak point for the Porsches with turbocharged engines is the exhaust nose. That's the very first thing that we're gonna knock out. Second is gonna be, of course, the suspension, the gap from the factory. This has about a 2 or 3 finger gap, so we wanna eliminate that as well. And then finally, the wheels. Porsche builds tens of thousands of the Turbo S, and so there's only a couple wheel models. I think from the last time I checked, maybe 3, perhaps 4 if you're able to get a special edition like a Turbo 50 style wheel. That means that if you have a 911 Turbo S, it is very, very likely that your next door neighbor, or when you pull up to a Porsche event or even a car event, that there's another Turbo S out there with the same exact wheels that you have. So what we want to do is we want to personalize it a little bit. Do a design that you like, do a color that you like, and then you leave the rest to me, which is the fitment. We're going to do a little bit bigger, a little bit more flush with the fenders, so the overall stance of the car looks more planted and honestly just looks a lot better. So those are some of the things that we're going to do. Obviously, this car right out of the box is an amazing car, but there's always room for improvement. It's the pursuit of perfection that we're after. So we're gonna be doing those little things. Hopefully down the line, we'll be able to do a little bit more body work. As you can see, this already has the sport design package with carbon fiber here in the side mirror, the sport design front spoiler, and the rear deck lid wing base that is the sport design as well. So this car, again, looks good, but we're gonna make it a little better. So I wanna move out of the way so that you guys can see a before and an after, and let me know in the comments what you think. But don't leave a comment just yet. Stay tuned to this video. I want to get into a little bit more detail of the exhaust system, the springs, and the wheels, and then at the very end I'll do a send off, and then you guys can start leaving your love or hate messages. So let me know what you think.
You can't make money if you don't have money.
For the suspension, we're going to do none other than H&R springs. There's a couple different versions of things that you can do on this car, in the Turbo S. Even different part numbers. You can do Carrera S part numbers, which is a trick that we've been doing for quite some time once the 992 Carrera S's came out in 2020 before the Turbos did. But on this one, we're going to do Turbo S specific springs. It's going to maintain the majority of the ride quality, and it's also going to lower the car about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, depending on some of the specs on this. Since it's a convertible, it's a little bit heavier on the rear end, so it has a different spring rate than the coupe version would be. But nonetheless, H&R has figured all that out. They know the amount of drop, the amount of comfortability that some of the customers, especially with the Turbo S, want to buy, because a lot of people do grand touring on these cars. And so that's how they keep with their super high customer satisfaction rating. They don't just do build a spring for one 911 and then apply it to the other stuff. They do a lot of research and development in Germany. So 100% made in Germany. You have the part number printed here. That way you know if it's going to be an authentic H&R spring part. And it's also even labeled nicely front and rear for the text, although you can't really make a mistake on that, right? So this is going to look absolutely great. We're going to get these center lock wheels off the car soon and start the work on everything. Here we have the performance exhaust system that is going to be going onto the Turbo S, and it is from Soul Performance. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Soul Performance, they've been around for a couple of years. They are in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, which is north of Philadelphia. For those that do know Soul Performance, you guys, if you've ever called in their customer service is one of the best in the industry. I love working with the guys, especially John Gatos over there. Extremely helpful and helps me understand some of the products that I'm not familiar with, or some new products that come out, like when the 992.2s come out, they have a system for that already. But going back to this one, it is stainless steel. It is T304L stainless steel, and the primary design of this is so that the airflow comes in. Let's spin this around. On this very large diameter piping. I believe they usually do 3.5 or 4 inch diameter piping for this back end. So the airflow comes in through here, and this is going to be where the factory valve actuators are mounted up to. So when you have the valves completely open, the airflow is going to come in through here and out of the bigger diameter piping on right here. And when the valves are closed, that airflow is going to come in through the big piping and then channel in through a smaller X pipe that is within the muffler. And so that's how you make it so that the car sounds pretty quiet when the valves are closed, and extremely, I wouldn't say extremely loud because it's just a muffler system or catback system, but much better than the factory system. So I can't wait to do or to hear the after sound. I can only imagine if down the road they start messing and dabbling in with titanium, if they haven't already, but this quality of the stainless steel here is absolutely phenomenal. The welds are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the guys at Soul Performance. I can't wait to see what this sounds like. And again, look at this design. The manufacturing on this, absolutely beautiful. So let me stop talking and let the techs do their work. So it's been just under 24 hours since I filmed that first portion of this video, and we have already gotten all the parts onto the car. So I'll start off with the wheels, because in my opinion, the one thing that you can do that gives you the biggest impact on the looks of your car is going to be wheels. Of course, outside of a wide body kit. But for a car where you're not modifying the body in any way, shape, or form, wheels give you the biggest impact, and it's the one thing that you can do to make it look most different from another person that has the same car as you. These are HRE S101SCs. They're a 2-piece wheel. HRE does not make this wheel in a 3-piece version. It's a forged monoblock rim and of course a forged center face bolted together, and it has no silicone, so you don't have to worry about this wheel leaking air over time. After the silicone deteriorates, it's just bolted and then you're off and you go on. This thing is absolutely amazing because of the finish and the fitment. We'll talk about the fitment in a little bit, but the finish I want to go over because this is probably my favorite wheel finish that HRE offers. It wasn't always that way. There was a time where HRE no longer offered polished finishes from around the 2010 to the 2015 area, and then around 2016-17 they reintroduced polished finishes. But before that, during that time, my favorite finish was the brushed dark clear, which is a gunmetal color that's hand brushed. But now, since they reintroduced this, hands down my favorite finish, and you can see why. In the Miami sun, this looks absolutely gorgeous. Even in the shade, it has a different kind of tone to it, and that's because underneath the translucent satin gold powder coat, the wheel actually looks shiny silver like this, a mirror polished silver. So it comes out of the machining. Then it goes into a tub where it produces that mirror polish look on the center face, and then they spray it with the translucent gold, and that's how you achieve this absolutely beautiful, elegant look. It looks really good against the chalk exterior. This is a combination that I recommend often. The only time I really don't recommend gold wheels on a Porsche is if the car is some sort of brown or gold, honestly, or something like that, because it would be too much gold at that point. But this, to me, works absolutely beautifully. Talking about the wheel fitment, we have 21 by 9.5 in the front and a 22 by 13 in the rear. This fitment fits without any rubbing whatsoever, even when the car is lowered on the H&R springs, just like this one has. 255 30 21 front, 335 25 22 rears, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. Again, no rubbing on this fitment, absolutely flush. So I'll do some B-roll footage trying to look down the side of the car from the front and from the rear, and you're gonna see what I mean. This fitment, 7 times out of 10, I would say, my customers with 911s will choose this larger diameter fitment. These cars come with 20 in the front and 21 in the rear usually, and so a lot of customers that buy aftermarket wheels, they want something that's a little bit more impactful, and so they'll do a bigger size, which is exactly what this fitment is. We could also do the 20s in the front, 21s in the rear, or we can even go down to 20s all around for those that want to use super sticky, debatable, legally road use tires like Toyo R888Rs and Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2Rs and things of that sort. So lots of different choices from a fitment standpoint that you can do with the HRE wheels, since they're custom built and made in San Diego or Vista, just outside of San Diego in California, and also a lot of different color choices, so you can do exactly what it is that you want and get it exactly how you want it. Going back to the springs, H&R springs, I love them because it gives you the great look and it doesn't compromise the ride quality so much. I say so much because there is a little bit of a stiffness factor when you do the shorter springs, and for those that are sensitive to ride quality and think that this should ride a little bit more luxury as opposed to sportiness, then I would recommend a coilover kit to you, whether that's through Öhlins or Bilstein or KW. So those are all suspension manufacturers that I work with, but in this case we did the H&R springs. I love the way the car looks, especially with the sport design package where you have the front spoiler and the larger wing. The only downside about this wing, I say it a lot of times, is that since this base comes up, you can't really use an aftermarket wing. Nobody makes it for it because when the wing retracts when you're in normal mode, it would clip the base, and so nobody really offers anything for that. But going into the inside of the car, you have the two-tone black and red. Not often that you see a car with the two tones. I think it's a little bit more common in the early 2000s, but I think it's very tastefully done here with the Bordeaux red and especially the Bordeaux stitching on that black leather. As for the exhaust, I'm gonna do some flybys after I'm done with this recording, and you guys let me know in the comments what you think about the sound clip from the Soul Performance exhaust that's valved, stainless steel, more lightweight than the factory system. So when the valves are closed, sounds top down, sounds perfect. You can get in traffic, don't worry about a thing. And when you want to spice it up a bit, you put that baby into sport mode, you press the valve buttons, they open up, and you get that amazing roar from Soul Performance. So before I let you guys go, I want to get the thank yous out of the way. First off, thank you to all the part manufacturers for producing some high quality parts that actually fit the cars the right way, and that'll be H&R, HRE Wheels, and also Soul Performance. Thank you guys again so much for your partnership in helping me build these cars. And a special thank you to Russ, my client, for sending me down his car. So Russ and I, this is the first car that we worked out together. He is a phenomenal Ford fanatic and collector. Check out his Instagram. I believe it is Special Fords and a 992 TS. And so he had actually reached out to me on Instagram and said, Dave, I see all the cars you do. You know your Porsche stuff. I know Ford stuff. And so let's collaborate on this car. And I'm happy that he did because it is absolutely beautiful. Probably one of my favorites that I've done, genuinely speaking. So Russ, thank you. I know you're watching. Thank you so much for allowing me to work on your car and sending me your beauty from a couple hours away. And thank you all for viewing it as well, for viewing this channel, for sharing this channel, for liking the channel, because that helps me grow the channel and allows me to, in turn, produce more stuff like this and allow me to do what I love to do on a daily basis, and that's work on these cars, think about what these looks are going to look like, and build them out for my clients, because that makes me happy, that makes them happy, and hopefully it makes you all happy watching this as well. So share it, like, subscribe. Until next time, be well, drive safe. I'll see you in the next one.